Hey everyone, we're live for a late night Saturday night live with some great guests. We've got some USA friends in, and we've got one of our Aussie legends down in the corner there as well, Beck from Game On Couple. So I'll pass it over to them to give them a quick introduction. So Emily Conway from the US, give a bit of introduction about yourself and your channel. You do a lot of reselling on YouTube as well.
Yep. So I'm from New York. I resell a lot of different types of items, clothing to video games to whatever I can find. But I really do love reselling video games. I really like reselling plush a lot. So I've been reselling for about a year, and I'm loving every second of it. Of course, I have a YouTube channel. I also do a lot of TikToks. If anybody's on TikTok, I don't know how it is in Australia, but I love TikTok, and I'm having a lot of fun over there. So that's me.
I struggle with TikTok. I think I'm a little bit too old for it, and I don't really know how to use it properly. And there's all these like people doing all these dances and the stuff. I'm like, I just put up a little video like, check us out. It gets like 4 views. I'm like, it's probably not my thing.
Like TikTok decides whether you're gonna get it or not. Like they hate me, but I still just keep doing it.
You got to enjoy what you're doing, right? That's the main thing. And then we also have Beck from Game On Couple, an Aussie, part of a great Aussie couple that do a lot of gaming stuff. So welcome, Beck. Do you want to give a little bit of intro?
Thank you. So I'm Beck, part of Game On Couple. Craig's in bed sleeping because he's got work tomorrow morning. So we've been collecting for a fair while. Craig obviously has been collecting longer than I have. And then we've started reselling pretty recently in the past couple of years or so. So we resell a little bit of everything, a fair bit of games due to Craig's love for the industry. And we also do clothing. We've dipped our toe into clothing and whatnot.
Definitely, and that's probably a little bit of an understatement from Beck, because if you saw their gaming collection, it blows a lot of gaming collections out of the water. So Craig, which is Beck's fiance, has a massive Sega collection, and Beck loves PS4. So we'll get into that a bit later, but definitely a great channel if you guys haven't checked that one out as well. And we'll head over to Natalie, the Thrift Raider. I love the name, by the way, Thrift Raider.
Oh, yes.
I kind of have an idea of where that came from, but I'll let you talk a little bit about that.
So Natalie, I've been a reseller for about 5 years, and on YouTube maybe about 3. I'm not that consistent with my YouTube videos. I try, but with a full-time job and reselling, it gets hard to put stuff out there, but I try. So the name comes from Tomb Raider. And I basically got obsessed with Tomb Raider when I was in high school. I actually went over to a friend's house, and my friend's dad was playing the game in the living room. I was like, wow, that game looks so cool. And like not long later, it was still when the PS1 was like, hot. And I got to play it not that long later. And it was just so much fun. And ever since, I've been obsessed with Tomb Raider. And I have most of the games. I've collected here and there, but I have most of the games. And I'm not on every platform, but I love video games. I really love reselling them. They're just so easy. And I resell a little bit of everything. I would say clothes are my least favorite, but just a hodgepodge.
Definitely. I actually came across a Sega Saturn Tomb Raider today, and when I picked it up, I saw you straight away. I was like, oh, no.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail, but I just put together a couple little funny little game covers of you guys as a little bit of an homage to your favorite games. So that kind of rolls into the next part. And Jazzy's kind of a little bit behind the ball in gaming. She's just sort of like come into it, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But I wanted to find out from you guys what your favorite console / game is, to kick it all off, to sort of set the scene of where it all started for you guys in terms of gaming.
So
Go
for
ahead.
me, my favorite console as a kid was definitely PlayStation. I was all about Crash Bandicoot, which I saw a tutorial, and I'm like, oh yeah, Crash Bandicoot too. Yeah, I was just back the other day. So yeah, I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon. I definitely like had to complete it. I had to get 100% all of the gems and whatever. I was obsessed with video games. I loved Gex as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always playing video games, RPGs, definitely. As I got older, I got into like Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Fallout, and things like that. So RPGs, I really like RPGs.
There's so many like when you look back from when you're a kid to now, like there's all these like little moments in your life when you like that game stands out to you so much. Like I was looking back at what I collect now, and it's like kind of like a bit from when I was really young, and then a bit from when I was kind of like middle aged, and now I'm like playing something else. So well, between young and where I am now. So it's kind of cool because it when you see a game, it kind of brings back a memory. Like you're like, oh, I remember playing that. Or I remember a moment in time, and it just takes you back to that moment in time, which I think is why so many people get nostalgia with like video games and stuff. So it's very cool to hear about like people's favorite games. So Beck, I know you're pretty heavy into your PS4 at the moment, but do you have anything sort of pre PS4 that really like took your imagination, or is it all like PS4 for you?
So when I was growing up, my brother had a PlayStation, and I used to sneak into his room and play. Love it. So that's kind of where I started. Like my dad always bought the newest PlayStation that was there. So I played it every now and again, but I wasn't great at it. As soon as I hit a boss, it was like, here, brother, help.
That I've done that before too.
Yeah, but I definitely played the Spyros and the Crash Bandicoots, and so much fun.
And what's your current favorite? I know that you sort of gave me a hint for the cover, but
so I really do love Horizon Zero Dawn, which is PlayStation exclusive. I only got back into gaming a few years ago, to be honest. After having a decade off adventures. But yeah, so Horizon Zero Dawn's amazing. I'm a big fan of Last of Us, as you can probably see.
See you back there.
So very keen for the new game coming out. I love RPGs as well, so like Witcher and Assassin's Creed and whatnot. I don't even know the genres. I just know I like to play them.
Yeah.
Love Zelda too. Zelda Breath of the Wild was so amazing.
That's another thing that Game On Couple Zelda is one of their favorites. So they've got a few Zelda games hanging around. And Natalie, you kind of gave us a little bit of an insight just before about Tomb Raider. Is there any sort of other ones that really stand out to you that kind of like pinpoint a moment in time for you?
So I grew up with the I remember I grew up with Super Nintendo, I guess you would say, is like the first console that we got. When Nintendo came out with the first one, my parents didn't want to get me one because they heard a lot of bad things about video games and in the media and stuff. And I guess like they got over that by the time Super Nintendo came out. And I remember when we had the Super Nintendo, we got back then in the mail, sometimes you could get VHS tapes about video games.
Oh, wow.
And I got Donkey Kong Country, and you put it on, and it's like these amazing graphics for the time, And I was like, I have to have this game. And I bugged my mom. She got mad at me. And I was like, I have to have this game. So I got it. But so it's old school games like that bring back a lot of nostalgia. And Emily touched on a lot of some from the PS1 era. I love PS1 games, PS2 as well, like the Gex series. Let's see, Spyro. I'm actually playing the reignited ones right now, the remastered versions. So much fun. Crash Bandicoot, all those games, and then there's some like maybe lesser, maybe not as known games. Like there's one I keep thinking about called Treasures of the Deep on PS1, and it's basically like this underwater, not espionage, but like you go on missions. And I probably, if I redid it, I'd be like, man, this game is so ugly. But back then the graphics were amazing, you know. And then I think for a while I kind of I wasn't maybe doing video games for a while, but I got back into it with like PS3. Yeah. And my husband bought one together, and I don't get to play as much as he does, but yeah. So I think lately, like I've said, I'm playing Spyro, but I also played one called Journey on the PS4, and that is just a beautiful game. If y'all haven't played it, it's short and it's just beautiful.
I haven't come across that one. Beck's nodding her head, so she's obviously you've seen that, Beck?
PlayStation Plus a couple of months ago.
Oh, yes, it was free last month, and that's when I finally got to play it. I had found out about it before, and then last month I was like, oh, I got to play this game. It's, you know, they say it's like a masterpiece. And I played it, and like at the end, I had like tears because it's like almost like it's like you're playing a life or something, you know, and then yeah.
It's
no spoilers.
Yeah, it's crazy how like games can like either give you that like outer world experience where you sort of like push everything aside and you can just like focus in on something and everything else just seems to disappear. Like, doesn't matter if you've had a like crap day or a crap week, you can sit down and play like a round of COD or something and everything else just sort of fades away and you kind of like you're locked into that one thing for that short period of time, which is really cool. Yeah. We haven't neglected the chat a little bit, so I just want to say a quick hello to everyone that's dropped in. If anyone has any questions for the lovely panel, please drop them in. We have sort of a couple topics that we want to touch on, but it's always good to get some questions from the chat, so please do.
Let's talk games.
We've got Kerry Orban in, who is Jazzy's auntie. She's currently living over in the States, Colorado Springs.
Good morning.
Jessie Lee, Diary of a Flipper, another great Aussie. Captain Op Shop Nerd. Thrifty Pixie, another great Aussie, one of our great friends. A couple of us are in the chat as well. Andy So Meta is Conway? Here. Yeah. We've got Matt is in as well. Michelle Latham is popped in. Oz Riley, a few other people. Cernock's in as well. Mossy, a whole bunch of people. Carl, Angry Man. Yeah, a whole bunch of people. So thanks everyone for coming. If I missed anyone in chat, I did that thing where it just jumps to the bottom. So
this is a funny time for us. So we might see some names that we don't usually get to see.
Yeah, it is a bit of a weird time. So we sort of decided to do a bit of a late one to try and match up with the US because it's real early in the morning over there. So you've got ourselves and Beck who are about to go to sleep and pretty tired, and you've got Natalie and Emily have just woken up. So we're all a little bit hazy, but we'll do our best to try and get through.
I may be a little slow.
Anyone remember Rainbow Island? Played that for days on end on the PC.
I discovered it yesterday
when you
listed it.
What was the like? Jazz didn't do a lot of gaming when she was a kid, and she sort of met me, and I was a pretty full-on collector.
You had a PlayStation 3. I had only ever played Harry Potter on the PC, but I'd never had a console.
So, what's your favorite? What's your favorite game?
I mean, I'd played Crash Bandicoot at friends' houses, and that was pretty epic. And then we got into Burnout.
Yeah. PS2.
PS2?
Yeah.
Burnout was fun because you just crashed into stuff, so I didn't have to be good at it.
Burnout is so much fun.
Definitely played that for hours on end when we first met.
We did.
And my favorite's probably got to be something from the N64 range, I'd say. There's a few in there that I love, like 007. I was talking to someone about 007 GoldenEye the other day, and when you go back to it now, it's actually really hard to play because you got so used to like the different controllers on the PS4. you play the N64 GoldenEye, and you've only got the one sort of joystick, so
Like, I'm stuck
aiming
looking at the
is
ground.
so hard, like it's impossible. Thank you, Cameron Swanson, for the $2 super chat. Really appreciate that. Favorite PC game as a teenager? That's a good question. Did you guys play much PC when you were younger?
I played Sims.
Sims?
No, not really.
So so when I was a teenager, I guess like I'm a
for
little
some
older.
reason- okay, go ahead.
What were we saying? Okay, well, when I was a teenager, we didn't have
Nothing.
a
I just
computer.
you guys are really choppy. That's all.
Oh, we've got lag.
We didn't have a computer, so
That's
we didn't
bad.
know.
I can't like understand anything right now.
Oh,
Oh no.
You can probably go out and then come back in. Sometimes it's like laggy on your end.
Okay.
Go ahead, Natalie.
well, we didn't. We had a computer. I don't know. Like I want to say, kind of late in the game, and so maybe like we had like some CD-ROM stuff, but I didn't play anything very serious. It was more like these like weird joke PC games that were like Star Wars parodies and stuff like that. Like so many trash games came out for the PC in the early days on CD-ROM. So
Let's see if we can get Emily back on. Cara said she just liked putting Sims in a room and setting fires.
That's so cruel.
Have you got us now, Emily? Is that better?
That was a lot of fun.
looks like we got
I
Emily
think
back.
so. Keep talking. Keep talking.
All right, we'll keep it going.
testing.
So we're all
It sounds a little
resellers.
better.
We're all sort of resellers in one form or another. So I had some questions about reselling games. So what's the best video game that you've ever flipped? And we'll start with Beck now that she's up in the top right there.
So while it may not be a video game as such, well, technically it's a video game, but paraphernalia. So this was a couple of years ago. We got a tip from a friend and went up to this guy's place to buy a few games, and then, as what we normally do, golden rule: do you have anything else?
Yeah.
What else do you have? So we ended up picking up a Spyro the Dragon press kit for about $30.
Wow.
It was not complete. It had the cardboard. That's it. So there was no game, no other like any of the other parts. And so we popped this up on eBay, and we were like, oh yeah, let's just put it as international shipping allowed. And the day came when it was due to end, and we laid there in bed just watching the price go up and up and up. So we sold it for $1,000.
Wow.
oh my. Okay, well, you win. I don't have anything like that.
Well, and you paid what? $30? Did you say?
Yeah, roughly that.
Wow.
Cardboard.
That's insane. That's and those are the sort of things that, like, you know, you're not really going to know to look for if you don't sort of collect games. And that's kind of why I thought it was cool to have sort of, you know, a bit of a collector and reseller involved, because if I saw that, I probably wouldn't know what it is. But obviously Craig and Beck knew what it was, and they made some serious money out of it. So that's what's cool about gaming, is there's so many like variations and things that you can find.
Yes.
Natalie, what's your best been?
Well, before I go into that, I just want to say another thing with Spyro is remember the PS1 demo disc that would come in? I don't know if that happened in Australia, but you would get like a free demo disc in like a PlayStation Magazine and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was a PlayStation Magazine special demo, but the demo disc for Spyro the Dragon is slightly different than the actual game. and it only has one level on it, but that level is there's a variation, and that demo disc. I mean, it's not like tons of money. You're not going to get rich, but it's like last time I looked, it was around like $15, and if you could pick it up for really, really cheap, as I have, it's just a good pickup.
For one level.
Yeah.
What's up?
Just for one level.
Yeah, because I mean they're like collectors for such specific stuff for video games, you know. I think so this may not count as a technical video game, but do you remember like the little Tamagotchis?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I found a Digimon one,
Yeah.
and I found that and a Tamagotchi put together for both were $1, 50 cents a piece, and just the Digimon one sold for, I believe it was around $80 to $90. Just it was so easy to ship, you know.
Yeah.
And then Batman and Robin on SNES, that went for around 80 as well, and that wasn't even tested, you know. So if I had been able to test it, it probably would have gone for a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Those are two of my better ones. I have not got anything.
Mhm.
I wish I could find $1,000 sale or even like $200, but I mean, those retro video games are, you know, rare in the wild anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you find a good one, it's like, yes.
It's like a double win, isn't it? Like you're always looking, but you never expect to actually see it. So.
Yeah.
Emily, what about yourself? I know that you sold off some of your partner's Nest games recently, which I'm surprised he was happy to part with. Was there any really good ones in there, or what's your best one been?
Yes. So for me, the best one that my husband had, because he had his whole NES collection. So he had tons and tons of new and complete in box NES games.
Wow.
Very good condition. He kept everything very well as a child. He was very organized, very neat, and very, you know, he kept everything like mint. Wow. So the best one that I sold was actually not even a complete in the box. It was just a cartridge. It was Power Blade 2. And so online it goes for like $500.
Whoa.
I was not able to test it though. Just like Natalie said, like testing it is very important. I ended up selling it for $440.
Wow.
I probably could have gotten more for it for sure. But yeah, that was the best one out of all of them. And a lot of them still went for like $150, you know, and they would sell so quickly. That's what I love about selling video games, like how fast, like you put them up and they sell like that. You know?
Yeah.
It's just the greatest.
Put them at the right price and they will sell. It's not like if and, you know.
Yeah, they are insanely good. Like you put them up, you look at comps, you find the solds, and if you put it at that price, you're pretty much going to sell it. As long as it's in good condition, you're going to do okay. Like we've been listing some of the stuff that we've picked up, and we've probably sold like maybe a quarter of the stuff we put up already, and we sort of only put it up in the last few days. Like it's just been like bang, 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 like selling as we list it. And
I can tell if I'm putting it too high because the things that I'm pricing right are gone.
Yeah. So it is insane.
I
will say, just real quick, like it is unfortunate though, like because video games are so easy to comp. It's like it's kind of an easy in for like the newbie reseller, and so I think that's how a lot of people like find flipping. But it's also like, I don't know, you get a lot of people that are just, I don't know, they just want to do it. I don't know where I was going with that, but you know how it's just, it's an easy in for a lot of people because it's just like such easy comps.
It is. It's really true.
Yeah,
and so you get a lot of competition, I think is where I was going with that.
Yeah, I think, and that's why it's so hard to find them in the wild and like people snap them into collections now. So unless you can come across somebody that's trying to get rid of it, it's very hard to get a lot of good stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a competitive market, and
And then with the vintage stuff, it just comes down to condition.
yeah, condition.
Yeah.
Because how many are there? Even when there's lots, like if
Yeah.
you've got one that's good condition,
And that's-
you're sweet.
Like Emily, her partner's collection. That's a reseller's dream, to just be able to, you know, have everything in good condition, ready to go, know that it's being stored correctly and looked after.
Oh.
That's like,
How many things have you just thrown the box away?
yeah, like some of them you just can't even save. Like they're just so beat up that you just like, what do I do? Like, do I just hold on to this cardboard that's now falling apart and dying? Like I can't even sticky tape this together in any fashion. Like it's not going to happen.
Right.
It's like a ceremonial burial almost, because you can't do anything with it. You're just like, we had one really good sale which I wanted to share for people out there. Is the Nintendo Famicom disc system game. We sold Zelda Hyrule that was sealed, which is very rare, obviously, and graded, and that went for $900 over to the US. So that was a very cool find. So if you see Nintendo Famicom disc system games, definitely look at comps on those, because they can go for some serious money.
When it comes to things that are graded, obviously if you can find it, amazing. But at what point, like, what would you find that you go, I should go and get this graded? As someone who knows nothing.
That's kind of hard. I think it depends on the game. Like, and you guys can probably chime in. Have you ever had a game graded at all? But Beck, have you guys had stuff graded before?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah. Natalie, have you?
No, but I would say if I had something sealed, like Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I found one sealed, like magically, I would maybe think about getting that sealed, or something like I'm sorry, graded, or Earthbound, or Rule of Rose, something like that.
Yeah.
I would then think about it.
It's definitely those higher end games. Emily, have you had any that you've had graded, or you just sold them as they were?
No, not yet. I haven't found anything that I figure like this needs to be graded, or I don't know at what point you should grade something.
Yeah, I think you want those top end games like that, like the Conker's Bad Fur Days, and like stuff that's already in, like, you can tell it's already in really good condition. You look at comps, and comps are already really high. Then you kind of think, well, it's probably worth putting the extra effort in to get that graded, and then potentially get a crazy value for it, because some of the stuff that is graded does get insane money, which I think helped ours because it was graded. But it's a pretty unique market for that sort of stuff. It's not you wouldn't go and get like a random Mario Kart graded. Like,
well, I've been comping things for the last 3 days, and I've not seen many graded, but the ones I have, I've been like, is that real?
It's crazy.
Well, that's the thing. Like, once it's graded, the person on the other end, the buyer, they know it's for real. I mean, if I see an Earthbound that's ungraded, I don't know if it's coming from like someplace in China where they just cobbled it together, and it's not even, I don't even know what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Versus something that's graded, and I know it's been looked at, and I know, even though I'm paying up, I know what I'm getting.
Yeah. It's sort of that like seal of approval, and that like real high-end collectors, that's what they want. They want the stuff that no one else will put their hands on because it's so high value. They're just like, this is my like gold mine, and I'm gonna keep it. Like it's a very unique market, but yeah, it's a cool market. Speaking of high value stuff, what is a bolo game? So if you were to try and find, if you could find any game out there, what would it be? Start with Beck. We've lost Emily again. I think she's a bad connection.
She'll pop up.
She'll pop back.
So I don't know if we have a bolo as such, but we do look for those rare games, obviously, like Conker's Bad Fur Day and Rule of Roses and whatnot. But the 3 categories that we do generally try to look at is like, is it something we want for our collection? Is it a rare game? And is it a quick flip? Like easy, quick flip. You get it for cheap. You can sell it for more, and it will flip in a couple of days.
Yeah, and that's probably
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the good thing about games is there is quite a lot in that sort of category, that mid tier category. So, Natalie, do you have a game that you just like always on the lookout for, and you just like you're always hunting, but you know you're probably never going to find it?
I am like, my dream is just like to go to maybe some yard sale and look in a cardboard box under a table, and there's just like 5 or 6 still in the box SNES games. You know, I don't even care if they're sealed, like you know, just that kind of stuff, because I've never found one. You know, I've never found an SNES in the box. So I'm just frustrated. But I think lately I kind of latched on to survival horror games, like Silent Hill. You know, like that? Yeah, so I used to love that. Well, I haven't played one in a while, but I used to love Silent Hill on the PS1, PS2. I played both of those, and I used to love Resident Evil. So lately I've been kind of comping those, and I'm like, I need to be looking for those more. And they're hard to find, but I was surprised at how much like just the first Silent Hill goes for. Like, I thought that one was like mass merchandise, like kind of like a GTA game, but it's like going for around $100.
Wow.
US. And that was very surprising. So now I'm going to be on the lookout for those.
Heck yeah.
Emily, do you have a game that just like you're always looking for?
Anything Zelda based, I'm always looking for. Anything like for reselling is what I thought of. So like anything that has like a cult following, Zelda or Pokemon stuff or anything like that. For me personally, I don't know. I don't like play a ton just because I have kids and I have like, you know, I just can't find time. So like I don't collect personally, but yeah, for reselling, definitely anything that has like a lot of people who just love that game, you know. So definitely Zelda, I keep my eye out for a lot. So those are the two I usually look for.
I'm hearing Conker's Bad Fur Day and Zelda a lot.
Conker's is an awesome game, especially on N64. Like that was awesome.
I want to highlight really quick Matt's Car Boot Diss. He's mentioning Atlas is generally a Bolo game studio. Absolutely. Like if you see anything with Atlas on it, pick it up because they only put stuff out in limited quantities. So just if you see that, just pick it up.
What games did they sort of make? Like what?
Oh my God! Now you're putting me on the spot. It's too early. I think they put out like a lot of platform games, like independent games. But I can't think of a title off the top of my head. Maybe he can add.
One that not an Atlas game, but one game that I still want to find because I'm a big N64 collector is StarCraft, because it was really limited over here when it was released, and they go for crazy money. And Snowboard Kids 2, I still haven't put that into my collection. They're like, if you get them in box, they're like $1,000 plus games. So,
wow.
I've never found one in the wild, but you just never know if someone's like, I think garage sales is the one. Hey, like you're always just like pulling out boxes and just hoping there's that glimmer of like stuff. And you look back 10 years ago and they were sort of like dime a dozen. Like you'd go to a garage sale and someone would be selling off their collection from, well, probably more like 15 years ago, selling off their collection from them when the kid, and it was cheap as, and you didn't really think much of it. But now you never see it. Like it's just, so frustrating.
I think a few people in. I saw Dapper Tiger in and Ryan.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Sam.
Your mum's here as well.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Sam.
Got Wi-Fi.
Ryan Jackson, David Green, Mario. Mario is always a good one to look out for. There's a couple that are really high end, like Paper Mario and stuff, but even normal Mario games you can get decent money for.
Yes. Even like Mario on like the Wii, there's several like low end games. I I'm trying to think. Just like Super Mario All-Stars. If you find that for like $1 or $2, it's worth 15, 20 over here. So, you know, it's one of those I found kind of easy to find.
And probably fast as well.
Yeah, get rid of it quick. Oh, Captain Opshop Nerd's got StarCraft in a box for PC. Nah. He was dropping a little bit of a tease there, but he didn't quite pull it off.
Toby, okay.
One thing I wanted to sort of touch on tonight, and I know that Beck and Craig have sort of talked about it a little bit, being sort of like partial collectors and now moving into the reselling space, is there's kind of like
friction.
It's a very competitive market, and most collectors don't really like resellers because they figure they're trying to like make money, which is ridiculous because that's what everyone's trying to do, right? So I sort of wanted to find out if you guys have had any sort of like experiences that have sort of, you know, changed your opinion on gaming because of that sort of like negative connotation. And probably start with Beck. Like, I know that you guys, when you switched from pure collecting to sort of reselling and collecting, it sort of batted a few eyelids in your sort of community. Hey, like it was a bit of a struggle for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a fair few people who do resell up here, and yeah, definitely a few bumps in the road. I had to write some stuff. Bear with me.
Oh, Tim's here. Good morning, Tim. Hey, Samson.
Hey, Tim.
Some of the biggest thing for us is that when we do a bulk buy, a lot of the collectors would probably go, "Oh, why are you getting that? You're getting stuff that I want," but at the same time, they're not really willing to put that large amount of money in order to get the whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of a
I think there's that sort of stigma, like you're buying it at a price that's cheaper than they can get it at, but they don't want to spend all the money to get all that stuff. So it's kind of like it's like a 50-50. If you didn't buy it, no one's going to get it. So it's like, how do you balance that? What about yourself, Natalie? Have you sort of come across that at all, reselling games?
Yeah. So there's a channel about video game collecting that I really like called Metal Jesus. And he has like a whole team of people. Some of them are game shop owners, but they kind of touch on that a lot because they get a lot of like hate in their comments, you know, because they'll be like, oh, this game is worth this amount of money. And people will say, well, now you're just making people aware, more and more people aware that they're worth money. And like, I get that because in a way, so on one hand, it's like you're taking that game that could maybe go to a collector for, and they could easily get it, but you're putting it online for a crazy amount of money now, and now they can't get their hands on it. On the other hand, it's like, are they doing the work though? Are they getting up at 6, 7 a.m. and going to garage sales and finding these and keeping games out of the landfill? You know, like I see some people out there doing that, but I don't see a lot of people doing it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm doing a service for people, and I take offers on stuff, you know, so.
I think like the thing is like you found it, and that person that was going to collect it probably wasn't going to find it. So now you're the middleman in the transaction. You know what I mean? And if you put in the hours to try and go find that game that someone's looking for, then you should expect to pay for that. Like, you're not going to get it at the same price you paid for it because you've drove however far to get it. You've got up at whatever time in the morning to go find it. You've cleaned it up. You've tested it potentially if you can, and then you've listed it. Like, you put time into that. So I think that's where it kind of falls over that argument. But yeah, I get frustrated because I'm both. I collect a little bit, but I don't mind if people are reselling stuff because I'm like, well, at least I can get my hands on it. Like,
right. I mean, there's a couple games I'm looking at right now, like on eBay. I'm like, now I can. I mean, it's not crazy high expensive, but I can get my hands on it. Whereas in the wild, I would maybe never find it. So that's all I gotta say.
What about you, Emily? Have you come across any sort of sticky situations in relation to that?
So far, I just like using my husband's collection for the most part. So it's been very like cut and dry. Don't have to worry about any of that. just, I post it online, someone buys it, you know, and people will buy it for what it's worth, for 500 or 200 or whatever, you know, so that's good. I think that there definitely is some competition there. Like my friend is a collector, you know, but we're friends, you know what I mean? Like, and he knows, like, if I find something that he's looking for, we can strike up a deal. I think that there can be some unity there. I think that there can be some negotiation. Like, if you make those connections with a reseller, like, instead of seeing resellers as like a threat or something that, you know, to maybe make that connection, and you can strike up a little bit better of a deal. Like, obviously you're, you know, there's the competition at the garage sale and things like that. But I mean, if you find it first, you find it first, you know, and what you do with it is what you do with it, whether you want to keep it or you want to resell it, you know? So yeah, I think that, there's definitely, I mean, I haven't come across it personally, but I could definitely see that being an issue. But yeah, I think that collectors should sort of see resellers as like, maybe I could make a friend, you know?
It just comes down to being fair from both parties. Like, you know, make sure that you're not price gouging or you're going to upset people. And, you know, if someone's gone to the effort to go and find that and keep it out of landfill, then offer them what it's worth. Yeah.
And I think as resellers, like, when you come across people that sort of talk to you more often, you're happy to do a little bit better price. And if you can do it like outside of eBay and save fees and shipping, like they can come to you direct, then of course you can do a bit better deal. So
I've come across that more with action figures. I sold off a lot of Ninja Turtles, and that was a lot of the case, like people just really competitive, really like, you know, but I made that local connection with somebody, and I didn't have to ship out these big, you know, bulky like sets, and it was so much easier. Like, we made that connection. He paid me what it was actually worth, you know. And so
that's awesome.
That's the best.
What were you trying to show there, Natalie, before? Atari game, was it?
Someone mentioned the Atari ET that they found in a landfill. Well, they always knew it was there, but it was like kind of a myth. And they found out it was not a myth, and they did find a ton of Atari games in a landfill a few years back. They did a whole documentary about it. But I just wanted to show that I had a copy. It's not from the landfill, but
that's crazy that they just dumped that. Hey, like, and you just wonder how many have gone into landfill like that. And
I know. It's an awful game, but I love it because it's awful.
It's got nostalgia for being awful. Matt's asked Emily, what color Furby are you rocking today?
I got a green Furby.
Oh, cute.
This is I do Furbies on my channel to just like bring awareness to mental health a little bit. So, like, you know, when I'm having a good mental health day, I'll have a green Furby. When I have like a neutral, I have a different color. And when I'm having a bad mental health day, I'll put that too. So people will ask me.
Wow, that's really cool.
I like that.
It's like something different to sort of like, you know.
I'm really passionate about mental health, so.
Yeah, that's something that I've come across with quite a lot in the reselling community, and it's a little bit off topic, but a lot of people sort of have had their own struggles through their lives and sort of come to reselling in whatever way, but it seems like a lot of people have come to reselling from difficult backgrounds, whether that was like when they're a child, their family didn't have a lot of money, and now they're trying to like,
we know how to hustle.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like if you've been through difficult times, you sort of come out the other end with different skills, I suppose. Have you guys found that as well? Like, is that something that sort of rings true with you guys?
In a sense.
Yeah.
Are you wanting us to elaborate, or
no? Yeah, I just thought we.
Just so you know, you guys are really cutting off a lot, so I'm trying to keep up with it, but it's like really choppy. So don't mind me if I just like stare and like.
I don't know what's happening.
I'm trying.
ET killed Atari apparently. Carrie thinks the folks here in the States have more knowledge on prices. Lots of consignment antique places. They are great but expensive. And that's something we don't really have over here. We don't really have consignment type stores. Do you have a lot of that sort of stuff in your guys' area?
I mean, there's like game stops and game places, but generally the whole joke is like you'll have $100 game and they'll give you $3 for it. So that's not really consignment. That's more they're a reseller, you know. I mean, but I don't have a whole lot of consignment stores around me in general, so I don't know. I would love to know what how the Australian market for video games is like. Are you going to? Is it as competitive as the U.S.? I know you can't tell me, but like I would love to know the differences. You know.
Yeah, I guess me and Beck could probably try and answer that. Like it is pretty cutthroat. Like
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely hotly contested. Like if something comes up on Facebook Marketplace and it's up for longer than 10 minutes and it's a good deal, it's usually doesn't happen very often. And I know that Beck and Craig have travelled to vast distances to pick up games into the countryside. Like Beck, do you sort of agree with that? Like it's pretty cutthroat, right?
It is definitely. So Craig's pretty good at finding good deals on Facebook Marketplace. He should probably not tell you his secrets. Like he tends to look at a lot of photos that have a lot going on in them. So where most people would just skim past them, he actually goes in and have a look at them.
Yeah.
And that's how we found
ways.
a lot of art.
He actually, he mentioned on one of the lives, like he saw a photo, it was a really bad photo, and he couldn't really make out what it was, and he had to zoom like right in, and he just saw like the corner of one of the labels, and that's how he told that like knew there was a really good game there. So that's probably the only way that you come across these like good games now is if people take crappy photos and people don't look at them. But if there's good photos and it's gone in like 5 minutes. Like, yeah, you don't come across them very often.
You have to be a detective now.
You have to find the bad quality listings. Do you guys have like Craigslist and stuff like that? Do you guys set up like safe searches and stuff to find deals, or do you just kind of like browse whenever you want and have a look?
I mean,
yeah, I mean, I think I heard your question. You're asking about like Craigslist?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I always look on Facebook Marketplace in my local area. I don't use Craigslist anymore. I don't know. Yeah. Like I just haven't really delved into Craigslist, but like what do you think, Natalie?
I think Facebook Marketplace in this area is definitely better for video games, but I am still a Craigslist junkie. I guess I have like kind of an obsessive personality. I check Craigslist like all the time for free stuff. Not that I expect video game stuff to be on free stuff, but just in case anything cool comes up. For garage sales, sometimes I'll check for sale items. I found like some really good like Halloween items through Craigslist. And sometimes people just throw stuff up there not really knowing, not knowing maybe Craigslist isn't the best place anymore. So you'll get lucky. But for the most part, Facebook Marketplace is the best area to get local games. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. We found some good deals. We have Gumtree over here, which is like the same as Craigslist.
Yeah.
Essentially. That's pretty quiet, but yeah, Facebook Marketplace definitely seems to be like the place where you can get some deals, but you have to be so quick.
Or where you find leads for really good deals as well.
Yeah.
Which we now have a whole bunch of stuff, and I still know nothing about what I should be playing. So for the absolute noob who's only played Harry Potter on PC, who now has a shed full of games, what game should I start with, guys?
I guess that depends on if you want to start old school or modern.
Let's go. Well, it's mostly old school, so probably what old school game
I'll
is going to
catch up from the start and like get some N64.
So, what is your question? You have a PC.
So Jazz never really got to play video games.
Never played a console.
So she sort of wants to know if there's a game that will get her hooked. Like, what's the game that you would sort of suggest for her to start out playing?
Yeah, okay, so I would do like maybe a platformers. Some of the remastered, like the Crash and the Spyro. Spyro is, I've been having so much fun. Like, I'm playing it all the time. And if you just want to get into something light, but also, I know some people are saying like Zelda N64. I always found I never got into Zelda games. I know y'all are like, what? But I always found Zelda was a little. I never really understood RPG games. I'll tell you what got me into RPG is the South Park RPGs.
Yeah.
They're so funny. They're so easy to understand. And after that, I was like, I understand RPGs. Like, I understand stats now because of this silly South Park game. So, yeah, I mean, I think Zelda, especially like the original SNES Zelda, I think the graphics are a little boring to look at, but N64 is a little better. Those are great starters. But honestly, when I played Zelda like on the Wii, I didn't really care for it that much. So, yeah.
So RPGs are role playing, so I'm making different decisions and things, and then platform is like my Mario where I'm jumping around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what level I'm at.
Jazz, the first sort of the last tour we got, there was a Game Boy game, and it was the first time you played Game Boy.
Oh, I had not a Game Boy, but my sister had just like the brick game.
Oh yeah.
That had one shooter and one Tetris on it.
So yeah, Jazzy's like sort of like well behind.
I'm just discovering it all.
Just discovering all the nostalgia that.
And I suddenly have it all laid out before me.
Do you have like a DS or some sort of like, you know, Nintendo handheld or?
There's a few Game Boys in there.
But...
Yeah, there was a DSi in there, but we sold that already. So
okay.
Well,
if you ever get I didn't play. I've always loved Pokemon, but I've never really played on a handheld until recently. I found a DS Lite at a garage sale for like $5 with Pokemon Platinum, and I was like, before I sell it, I'm gonna play it. So much fun! I got addicted. So that might be something cool to get into.
It's kind of a problem as a reseller though. Like you want to take the time to way to play them, but it kind of like it takes over a big chunk of your life if you do get like into it. So it's like it's that hard balance, isn't it? It's like play a game or list 20 things. Like
well, I had downtime at work, so I was kind of, you know, when I wasn't doing anything, I was
I'm so much busier now that I'm not working.
We've got a few more people dropping in. We're almost at the hour mark. Thanks for popping in, Leanne. So I didn't sort of have any too many other questions in terms of video games, but I sort of wanted to find out from you guys if you've got anything coming up on your channel. I have dropped all your links in the description so that people can come over and watch some of your guys' stuff. And I know you all do different things in different ways, but I know Craig and Beck are sort of in between a few things at the moment, but we'll go around and sort of give your channel a little bit of plug what maybe is coming up in the next week or so or next month. And hopefully a few people will jump over and hit that subscribe button for you guys.
Yeah, kick us off, Beck.
What do you got coming up, Beck?
Oh, so that's kind of Craig's domain. I just show up and look pretty.
That's
nothing wrong with that.
My job as well. Yeah.
I wish someone would do my videos.
I guess we might do a couple of thrift videos coming up, but who knows? Craig probably has this whole
list ready to go.
Should I go wake him?
No, that's okay.
We've been putting a lot of pressure on him to set up his new games room and show us that. So you just let him know that's what we want.
That's the next one we want. Natalie, what about yourself? Do you have anything coming up anytime soon?
I need to put out a couple of what sold, because I like to put out like a monthly what sold video. I need to put out March and April. So those are coming out. But also now that we're not under lockdown, garage sales are coming out more and more. There's still not like a whole lot, but there's like maybe a scattering of garage sales now, and I want to start recording those. Those are a lot of fun to edit, and if you find something, it's a lot of fun to show people what you found.
Yeah, I've definitely been enjoying garage sale ones. Like, we only sort of filmed a few of them, but they're probably the funnest ones to put together, I think.
Yeah,
a little bit
I love
harder
watching them.
Yeah. What about you, Emily? What's coming up for you?
Well, garage sales are going to be opening up, just like Natalie said. So we have some garage sales. I hope to have some of those videos out every Tuesday evening for the U.S. It's 9 o'clock Eastern in the U.S. So whatever that ends up being in Australia, I have a mental health, like, reselling. I try to like mesh. I can't hear anything, so I'm just gonna keep. I try to mesh like mental health and business, and so Tuesday nights, that's kind of my live chat. I just go over different topics. This week I'm talking about stress and how to deal with stress in our business and our mental health and stuff. I'm gonna have a friend doing a live chat with me there, and then I just did an interview with my husband, if you guys are curious to know.
I saw that. That was cute.
I did just a little like ranting about what?
I said I saw it. It was cute.
I'm just gonna talk. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. They're fine. It's just my connection. Don't worry about it. I did a little rant about like people with their misconceptions about reselling, and a lot of people have a lot of really negative connotations of reselling. So I did one about that. But yeah, definitely I want to do some what solds. I want to do some garage sales and like get to some semblance of normalcy now. Now that things are opening up just like a little bit, you know what I mean? So yeah, just your typical reselling channel with some mental health stuff thrown in.
Awesome.
Cool.
Have to check that out. I think that'll be Wednesday morning our time. I think the Tuesday night would be. It's always hard to try and work out time zones with the US, but thanks to you guys for joining us tonight.
I also have Instagram. On Instagram, I do like a countdown of when it's going to happen. So my Instagram is Emily E. Conway, all one word. If you guys want to follow my Instagram stories, I usually have like a countdown timer. Other people from Australia have told me that helps when they want to watch my content. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. So
it definitely does help with all the different time zones and stuff. But yeah, thanks for everyone for joining us tonight. I know it's a bit early there and a bit late here. But,
thanks for inviting me. This is fun.
Yeah, we sort of wanted to keep it on theme with what we had come in and talk a little bit about gaming and reselling gaming. And, it's always a tough market, but it's a fun one to be in. And I think that, there's definitely some nostalgia when you pick up a game and you can sell it on to someone else and maybe have it in your store for a little while and kind of look at it until you sell it. But
enjoy its presence
while it's still there. So if anyone in the chat hasn't checked out any of the channels, they are in the description, so you guys can head over there, check out some videos from these guys. Great knowledge in all the different areas, and we really appreciate them coming on. And we'll leave it there for tonight, but thanks everyone for coming, and we will see you next time on Tawsy Thrifters.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.